Hello and welcome to Top Story. Hillary Clinton breathes fresh life into her bid for the US Democratic Party presidential nomination. Winning in Pennsylvania was not enough. In a state where history and the demographics are in her favor, she needed a storming victory to put the steam back into her campaign. Well, with the count now all but complete, she appears to have done just that, winning by a convincing margin of 10%. Anything less, and the momentum gathered by Barack Obama would have seemed unstoppable. With so much at stake, Clinton has spent the last few weeks campaigning the length and breadth of Pennsylvania with relentless energy. And she's had Obama on the run, driving him onto the defensive in a televised debate and ruthlessly exploiting his campaign gaffes, not least an unflattering description of small-town Pennsylvanians as bitter, frustrated and clinging to guns and religion. Obama hit back, accusing her of slash and burn, say anything, do anything, special interest-driven politics. Clinton, he said, had internalized Republican campaign strategies. But on this occasion, at least, victory was hers. Well, joining me now to discuss the vote is Sally Shelton Colby, a former US ambassador and ex-Deputy Secretary General of the OECD. Thanks very much for being on Top Story. So the marathon goes on. Hillary Clinton says the tide is turning in her favor. Do you think she's right there?
I think it's still a horse race, as it was the day before the Pennsylvania primary. We still got, I think, 9 or 10 primaries to go. So it's not over, but it is still a horse race.
The pundits were saying beforehand that she needed a double-digit victory. She got that. Is that enough, though, you think, to really give her momentum again?
I don't think she has the momentum that she would like to have. 10% margin is not bad, particularly considering the fact that Obama considerably outspent her. He spent 2 to 3 times more than she did in Pennsylvania. So it's not an inconsequential victory. She says 3, I've heard 2, I've heard 4. The point is he significantly outspent her. But a 10% margin is not bad.
In a big state, especially.
In a very big state. It's the 6th largest state in the United States. And in terms of retirees, and this is important because they tend to be politically very active, it has the 2nd largest number of retirees, with Florida having the 1st. So it's not an inconsequential victory.
Obama is sort of writing it off a bit. They're saying it's a one-off state. The demographics are all in her favor. She had relatives who had lived there. She was always going to win. It was just a question of keeping the margin as small as possible.
One would expect Obama to make those arguments, but now we're on to the next round, which is May 6th in Indiana and North Carolina, and Obama is well ahead in North Carolina. We'll see about Indiana. The demographics in Indiana are not all that different from the demographics in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, the pattern so far has been Hillary Clinton wins a big state, and then afterwards Obama starts cleaning up on the smaller states. Do you think that's going to be the pattern again now?
There aren't very many, there are no more very big states. North Carolina is sort of middling. But the numbers are out there for the 2 to win. Obama has gotten to where he is by winning a series of small and medium-sized states. And it's neck and neck as far as the delegates are concerned. He is slightly ahead, but not that far ahead. So it's still a very competitive race. And
it's turning into a really tough choice for the Democratic Party as well. I mean, if Obama had managed to beat Clinton or limit the victory to a few percent, it would have been different. But having lost this one by such a significant margin, it really does make the race seem wide open to the party, I would have thought.
That's right. And when we talk about the race being wide open, frankly, it's primarily wide open as far as the superdelegates are concerned. Those are the delegates whom both candidates are courting and whom both candidates need to woo and win.
And Obama's beginning to look a little bit vulnerable. He became a bit scratchy during this campaign, losing his temper once or twice, lost that debate quite significantly to Hillary Clinton. What's going on there, do you think?
To be honest, I think they're both tired. She's lost it occasionally. He's lost it occasionally. Yeah. There's a sense of primary election fatigue setting in. I think it's to be.
And there was that big gaffe on the Pennsylvanians. That didn't go down very well, did it?
I don't think that ended up hurting him all that much. I think the people who were turned off by that gaffe would not have voted for him anyway. So I'm not sure that it ended up making all that much difference.
What about the damage that this infighting is doing to the Democratic Party. The Republicans are sitting on the sidelines and watching. They must be smiling to themselves.
Well, that in fact is the key point. The Democrats, you may have heard the old adage about the Democratic Party. It's the only party in the world that when it circles the wagons, it shoots inward. That's exactly what's happening now. And McCain is sitting back, raising money, rebuilding his base, and listening to the arguments that the Democrats are giving him for the general election.
I mean, he must be delighted by what he's seeing.
I think the Republicans are not at all unhappy with what the Democrats are doing to each other.
And what about the statement that Hillary Clinton made just before the election itself, before the vote, when she sounded really tough on Iran? Is this, do you think, a new trend we're going to see, a new line that Hillary Clinton is going to pursue, start getting tough on foreign policy and in that way distinguish herself from Barack Obama?
I don't think so. She gave a major foreign policy speech a couple of days ago in which she emphasized, as Senator McCain has done, the importance of multilateralism, the importance of listening to one's allies. She put a great stress on development as a key element in her foreign policy. And in terms of her position on Iraq, she's been backing away from her earlier support for the war. Iraq was not the number one issue in the Pennsylvania primary. It was the state of the U.S. economy. But Iraq will come back to the fore without any question between now and November 4.
I mean, what lessons do you think, I mean, looking ahead to what's left of the campaign now, Hillary Clinton's obviously going to be delighted with her performance in Pennsylvania, but what lessons do you think she will be drawing for the rest of the campaign?
Emphasize the state of the economy and that she is going to be ready on day one as president to not only deal with the country's international problems, but to deal with the country's ever more serious economic problems. Pennsylvania is typical. It's a kind of proxy for the United States in terms of the state of the economy, foreclosures, bankruptcies, the declining purchasing power of the U.S. dollar. So she'll emphasize her ability, starting on day one, her experience, her ability to deal with the problems the U.S. is facing.
And that's all we have time for, I'm afraid. Thanks very much to our guest, Sally Shelton Colby. Join us again tomorrow for another edition of Top Story. Goodbye.